Far out in the desert of Arabia lived a chief called Ali Ben Ahmed and his tribe. Their tents were pitched on the tranquil sand where the blazing sun beat down all day. Month after month, they saw no stranger, for the paths of the travelers lay far to the south. One evening, little Zuleika ran to her father, for heard she had something riding their way from the south. Ali Ben Ahmed came out of his tent and stood beside his beautiful little daughter. The chief scanned the southern horizon until his eyes found a little yellow cloud of dust in the far distance. Zuleika danced with delight. She loved visitors who told stories of the wonders which her eyes had never seen. They had talked of cities with great stone houses, lovely green gardens, sparkling rivers, and cool blue seas. To the little girl, who had lived all her life in the desert, these stories were marvelous fairy tales. So she watched the approaching stranger with happy and expectant eyes. Ali Ben Ahmed called his men to welcome the newcomer, for the desert Arabs are very hospitable. They bowed their turban heads almost to the ground to the low salam as the rider pulled up his sweating mount. The stranger, who was proud and dignified, returned the salute and said that the great Sheikh Ben Nedi would visit their tribe the next day. Only little Zuleika sat alone and idle. Tears stood in her lovely dark eyes because she had no gift to give the great man who would come the next day. Her mother, busy in the women's tent unrolling a beautiful piece of silk that would be her gift the next day, tried to comfort the child and told her that children are not expected to give gifts. But Zuleika was not comforted. She slipped away from the tents and sat on a great stone near the well and wept. Suddenly, a misty white figure took a shape of a beautiful fairy. The fairy asked Zuleika why she was crying, and Zuleika told her the reason. The fairy told her that she has more to offer the sheikh and come back tomorrow where her tears fell upon, and she will find something to give the sheikh. Zuleika ran back to her tent, but she could sleep that night. As soon as dawn broke, she hurried out into the sun to find the gift which she was to give that day. She came to the well and stopped in amazement. Where yesterday there had been nothing but bare sand, today there was a tall tree. Zuleika rushed back to her father's tent and told him everything that had happened. Zuleika's father would not believe that there was a tree in the desert until he had seen the tree for himself and tasted its fruits. In the afternoon, the caravan of the great Sheikh Ben Nedi arrived. Gifts were brought and laid before him. Gifts of jewels, of gold, of silk, and beautiful steel swords from Damascus. The great man received them with gratitude and praise. Ali Ben Ahmed smiled, then led Ben Nedi to the rock by the well where the date palm grew from the spot on which Zuleika's tears had fallen upon the ground, and explained how the wonder tree had sprung up miraculously in the night. Upon knowing everything, Ben Nedi softly exclaimed,
"Yes, it is the most precious gift of all, for it springs from the desire of the heart."
Arabia blessed the day, for they know that the tree will furnish them with food, fiber, and shade.